The basics of contracts and why they're so important. Contracts are a fundamental part of the U.S. legal system and also in other countries as well. They're important building blocks for relationships, but many people don't stop and think about what a contract is, and that's what I want to spend some time on today as a lawyer. Contract law looks similar across many of the U.S. states, so some of these general principles will apply. Of course, you're going to want to sit down with an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction for the important issues for you. But the basic idea of a contract is a mutual exchange. Each person has to give something to the other. If there's not something going both directions, then sometimes the law will find that it's a gift. And gifts often are not enforceable. So if it's a gift, if one person's giving and the other person's just receiving and not doing anything at all, that might be a gift. And possibly that might not be enforceable. But if both people are exchanging something of value with one another and it's memorialized in the right way, that's probably a contract. And absent other factors beyond the scope of our talk today, that's probably enforceable. And the most common types of contracts are money for products or services. One person gives money, the other person gets the product or service. There's an exchange. Under UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, which governs a lot of the goods that you might buy in commerce, those goods are supposed to be perfect. It's what they call perfect tender. And if they're not perfect, we've got a problem. For other things, there is the description or the nature of whatever's purchased in the contract. And then you have to wonder, are you delivering what's in the contract? If you sign a contract and say you're going to deliver a certain automobile, that contract requires you to deliver that automobile. You can't deliver a different automobile for obvious reasons, right? Because each person is supposed to get the benefit of their bargain. All of this to mean we need to be very careful about our contracts and agreement. What exactly are we promising to do? Are we comfortable with those promises? In the business context, a lot of times I see promises in contracts that people haven't thought about. They haven't really worked through what promises they're making and are they consistent with their business operations. A lot of times businesses have copied contracts from other businesses and it has the promises of the other business, but not the promise of the business signing the contract. Do those promises line up to how you do business? Sometimes there's differences in the way you do business. So I invite you to revisit your contracts and see if they really work. And perhaps sit down with an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction who can go through those contracts with you and say, hey, maybe we should make some adjustments here in light of our business and our operations. These are good exercises. But we've got to think about that, the bargain. Each person's giving and taking something. And what are they agreeing to give and take? Are you going to be able to fulfill your bargain? And then, on the other side, what happens if the other person doesn't fulfill their bargain? Those are a lot of the basic questions we as attorneys ask ourselves as we get into reviewing a contract. Does this thing work? What happens if something goes sideways? Hope that's helpful. Hope that gets you thinking about contracts and agreements and your obligations. And hopefully you haven't signed contracts where you can't hold up your end of the bargain, because that becomes an unfortunate situation. And you might end up holding the financial bag on some issues when that happens. So you want to be very careful about the contracts you sign. Join me in the comments. Don't put anything confidential in there. Other people can see your comments on public channels like this. For confidential things, right, reach out to an attorney licensed in your jurisdiction. You'll likely get attorney-client privilege for the conversation. You can really open up and talk about things. But for general questions, topic ideas, things you'd like to see us cover on the channel, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. I look forward to seeing you for another video soon, and I hope you subscribe.